Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kee. I'm actually working here right in this building. I'm the theatre manager of Performing Arts Centre of Penang. And today I'm actually going to talk about something that I hold very dear, very closely to my heart. We all live with different languages, and in the world there are 7,000 different languages spoken as we speak today. And just in Malaysia itself, we have up to 137 languages. It is not surprising that we have so many languages spoken in one small and interesting country, but it is surprising that many of us who live here do not realize that. And we all think in language, because without language we won't be able to communicate. But apart from communicating, we are also relying very much on a language to express ourselves. For example, we realize that some people actually do not speak, but even if you don't speak a language, but you still will be able to communicate by using sign language. I do not know sign language, but some people do. And in Penang, there is a dumb and deaf school, and they're actually teaching sign language in different languages. So most of the students there, they actually have to study in English and in Malay. So sign language itself is also a variety of different languages. And this is my name. And I always try to get people to know me more closely, so I actually try to be very friendly. I tell them that just call me myself, call me my name, Kee. So whenever I write an email, right, I will have like regards Kee. And whenever I get a response from other people, they often thought that How was my surname. So they call me Hi Kee or Mr. Kee. And I start to think I might need to do something to change that kind of concept, because I want to find out whether they seriously thought my surname was How. But that's a very westernized concept. So I changed my email to my fuller name, Ooi Kee, and it looks like a normal Chinese name in Malaysia, but unfortunately, people start to call me Hi Ooi Kee. And I start to think that maybe it is not my problem, because they are just simply stupid, maybe. Okay, and I'm going to share with you a very simple story, a very small story, and it's a real story. It happened about three weeks ago, right in this building. I was working very closely with a very young girl, very little girl. She is definitely not the stupid one. She's very intelligent, very smart young lady. And she is a high school student. And we were actually discussing about getting something recorded into a CDR, burning something into a CDR. So I told her, after the discussion, I told her, I swear, I told her very gently and very politely. I said, can you go and get 2 CDR from the closet and do it for me? Thanks. So she walked over to the closet, and she stood there, and she turned back and said, magic word? I didn't know what she was trying to say. So I asked her, sorry. And then she said, when you request someone to do something, what would you say? And then she was actually looking for a magic word, but that magic word is actually not a very important part of my culture, because I was trying to be very polite. I swear to God, I was not rude to her. It was a very complete request, it's a very complete sentence, but yet I needed to say please in order to trigger that action. So it struck me to realize that, oh my God, we are colonized, because it is never a very important part in our local culture. So I start to look at all other Western cultures in the world. In another Western culture that I am more familiar with is French culture, because I speak French, and I start to try to associate the word please into French language, to realize that French has to be translated into s'il vous plaît. And it's actually a very complete sentence, because s'il vous plaît means if it pleases you. So in an English culture, when you get someone to do something, when you say please, you're actually begging them to do it. But in the French culture, you are requesting them to do it, but you have to make sure that they are happy to do that for you, because you have to make sure that whatever you ask them to do, it pleases them. If they are not sure about this one, they will forget it. Okay. And then, not only that, we realize that, I realized that in an English context, right, I is always spelled with a capital letter. It's always like that, because I always think that in an English culture, they are very much concerned about themselves. That's why I is always spelled with a capital letter. But only in front of Apple products, I is not. So I guess maybe because we all worship Apple products very much, including myself. And the next small story that I want to tell you is that I grew up in a Hainanese-speaking region in Penang Island. But many of us actually do not know that such neighborhood actually exists. I grew up hearing Hainanese spoken in my neighborhood with my family members, with my neighbors, and so on. So I was raised to know that the world doesn't spin just around doesn't spin just around ourselves, because I also, whenever I speak Hainanese, I have to make sure that I need to know who the person I'm speaking with. If I'm talking to my siblings, my friends, my colleagues who are not anyone senior than me, I can say gua, just like in Malay, aku. But if I'm talking to my parents, if I'm talking to my grandparents, I have to say nong. It actually makes me a more humble person. It downgrades my identity because I'm talking to a more senior person. If I use gua with my grandparents, I will get scolded. And not only in Hainanese, in our official language, especially like Malay, and we all know that there is a difference between aku and saya. But most of us actually do not realize how variant these two words are, and they should actually be used in a different situation. Not only I. For you, in Malay, there are actually 4 levels, but many of us do not know how to use them correctly. Today, in a Malay conversation, a lot of people actually have started replacing saya or aku into I, all these 4 different words into you. So whenever we say I like you in English, it's a very general expression. But if you use different aku or saya or any different word out of these 4 words, right, you actually have a different expression, because I can actually tell, we can all tell the relationship between the I and you in that context. Not just simply I like you. Because I like you today, maybe it only means just the click of a button on Facebook. And I think this is a very worrying trend because it is affecting our identity, it is affecting our culture, it is affecting our many things that we do. And I think that we all should be worried about this. But then again, who are we? If I'm only talking about myself and my gang who should be worried about this, then this is not true. Because I think this is not just a Malaysian thing, it is a worldwide thing. I think we, kita, should all be concerned about this. Thank you.